Welcome back to the PokerStars.net European Poker Tour. We are in Prague for the third leg of Season 9 of the tour, the final event of 2012 before we pack everything on a big boat and ship it across the Atlantic to the Caribbean for the 2013 PCA. It's final table time in the Czech Republic, and these are the 7 players who remain in the tournament. Ramzi Jalassi was the chip lead at the start of the day. He has increased that chip lead over the course of the first few levels. He's up to 8.3 million in chips. The two short stacks are Sergei Kuzminski and Ben Warrington. Ben did get a double up shortly before the break. However, he is still on the low side. It's James Hartigan and Matt Broughton calling the action here in Prague, and we're joined by a member of Team PokerStars Pro. It's Eugene Kachalov. Hi, Eugene.
Hey, guys. Good to be here again.
How's tricks out on the big floor?
How's what, sorry?
How's tricks out on the floor? Is it exciting times out there? We don't get to leave here, you see. we have no idea if there's like 1,000 people or 6 out there.
And it seems like you guys are so close. You're like right here, but not really.
Well, we're close logistically, but actually we couldn't be further from the action if we tried.
It's clearing up, actually. I mean, it seems like everyone's leaving town.
It's cold. Usual. It's cold out there. That's why. Try to find somewhere warmer to run to.
Now, these are some words you'll hear us saying a lot. Action has been folded to Ramzi Jalassi, and he raises.
Yeah, a couple of times.
Jalassi been raising to 160,000 as we come back from the break. The blinds have gone up to 40 and 80,000 with a 10,000 ante. Action on Ali Plowski. And he will 3-bet his button.
Have you enjoyed the lion up close?
The what?
The lion. There's a chap dressed as a
lion. Oh, yeah,
lion.
I saw that. I was wondering what that was. I didn't realize that was a lion.
Yeah, it did get confused for a bear and a squirrel earlier on.
Bunny as well, I think he got called Bunny.
We can confirm that our Spanish character, Diego Gomez, is dressed as a lion. And no, he didn't lose a prop bet. It's just because what he likes to do.
Got to have a hobby.
So action back on Jalassi. I'm assuming, possibly incorrectly, Eugene, that Ramzi Jalassi is a player you've come up against because he's a regular on the circuit and seems to have been at every EPT pretty much since Season 2.
I actually don't know him very well. I mean, his face looks familiar. I guess I may have played with him, but I can't recall any particular hands that or any particular experiences that I've had with him.
I mean, as Rick Dacey from the PokerStars blog reminded us earlier on, Ramzi Jalassi has finished 19th on the EPT 3 times and 20th once. So he can never get past that hurdle and get to the final 2 tables. And here he is at the final table with the chip lead. And I mean, he's been playing pretty well and certainly wielding that big stack and putting the pressure on.
I mean, that's certainly important. I guess that's pretty impressive, actually. A pretty impressive statistic that he's done that. And there goes the pressure. Yeah,
a 4-bet. And Plowski seems to get himself into these pre-flop raising wars all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Jalassi has been a serial pre-flop raiser.
And Plowski responds with an all-in, and he gets called by Jalassi. First hand back from the break, and Ali Plowski is all-in with ace-king. And pocket nines is the hand for Jalassi.
Wow, that was tremendously fast.
And Plowski started the day second in chips. He slipped some during the first few levels, and now he's at risk. It's practically a flip, but Plowski is the player who needs to hit. And he doesn't really hit that flop. A couple of backdoor draws. His best hope is to hit an ace or a king on the turn or river. Jalassi's nines holding so far.
Wow.
Well, that takes away the spade draw, the backdoor straight draw, now drawing to an ace or a king. Plowski down to 14% equity. The river is a 7. Wow. We lose Ali Plowski in 7th place. Hoping to become the 3rd Belarusian to win an EPT and follow in the footsteps of his good friend Mikolaj Pobal, who won Barcelona this season. And although he was second on the leaderboard at the start of the day, he goes out in 7th, collecting €108,400. And just like that, first hand back from the break, we're down to 6.
Yeah, he had such a tough level the last level. He was trying to make something happen. He was trying to get his chips up, and he just kept running into trouble, running into genuine hands, and getting sort of a little bit outplayed even perhaps. But certainly didn't expect him to be out this early.
And look at what's happened to Jalassi's stack. He's now up to nearly 11 million. He has nearly a 2-to-1 chip lead over the guy who's second in chips at the moment. And great news for Warrington and Kuzminski, who've just laddered up and are now guaranteed at least 150k.
Yeah, it seems like he's got like 40% of the chips already.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And he's the kind of player, Eugene, who is going to keep that pressure on. He'll be acutely aware of like his position and how he can abuse his opponents.
Yeah, it's certainly important to pay attention to who's like trying to move up the ladder, and for whom like moving up from 6th to 4th place or so is important, and taking advantage of that.
So six-handed action about to get underway. By the way, during the break, at the request of Rob, I did in fact tweet a link to the Bluff Magazine Reader's Choice Awards. So if you follow me on Twitter, or if you're following the EPT Live timeline, the hashtag EPT Live timeline on Twitter, you will see that link. Please do vote for EPT Live in the category Best Web-Based Poker Show. As Matt discovered during the break, you are required to vote in every single category.
Which I duly did.
And as soon as you saw there were 13 categories, I can't be bothered with that.
No, what I said is I'll do that later. Actually, no, I didn't. That's what I thought. I did say I can't be bothered to do that. But what I was thinking as I said that was I'll do that important task much later.
Eugene Kachelov, a former winner of the Bluff Magazine Reader's Choice Player of the Year Award. We need your vote for EPT Live.
I just realized I played with 2 guys from this final table in this event.
Oh, which 2?
The guy in the lion suit and I think the Russian guy.
Okay, well, Diego Gomez is won a live satellite, and the Russian guy, Sergei Kuzminski, he won an online satellite.
Wow. Always nice when people win satellites to make the final table. Makes it more exciting.
I think, is it Kuzminski's playing in his first ever live tournament?
I think you could be right.
I will get confirmation on that. Stand by, caller.
I think he's, or if he's played anything before,
yes.
It's not anything major.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 22-year-old student. I mean, mainly been playing poker recreationally, and won his seat in a special social networks free roll. And this is, in fact, his first ever live tournament.
Yeah, I actually, I just remembered something he did kind of strange at the table, which makes sense now. hearing that it's his first live tournament. There was a hand that I wasn't involved in, but a player on my table was involved in. I don't remember the exact action, but once the river came, the turn came an ace, and it went check check, and then the river came like a blank, and the first player checked, and the Russian guy bet, and his opponent finally called, and the Russian guy asked him, "Do you have an ace?" And the guy's like, "No," like basically like saying like if you have an ace, like like usually you say that if you have an ace, like oh you're good,
Yeah.
It's like no, I don't have an ace, and he's like oh okay, and then he shows 2 pair. and then the guy was so angry at him, and he was like looking at him like, why did you ask me if I have an ace? Why did you ask? Like, he's like, oh, I just wanted to know.
It's a learning process.
Yeah, you don't really do that. That's not a cool thing to do at a poker table. So that's actually one memory I do have. That was pretty funny.
Oh, we'll let him off.
And so you've also
he's new to the scene.
Yeah, he's new. It's okay.
So you also encountered Diego Gomez, the character in the lion outfit, who's raising here.
Yeah. Briefly, more briefly, I think in the second day. Yeah, I think he got moved to my table, and about 2 hours later, I busted out.
Wow. Well, this is all in from Kuzminski here.
Coming over the top of Gomez is open.
Oh, big blind thinking.
Yeah, Gillespie not with anything like an insta-fold.
Getting a count, and Kuzminski's sack will be verified at just shy of 1.4 million. Our graphic is correct, 1,355,000. Jalassi folds, it's back on Gomez. And he folds as well. Remember, if you've got a question for Eugene Kachelov, our guest in the booth, you can tweet it using the hashtag EPT Live, or you can email nuts@pokerstars.tv. By the way, in terms of voting for EPT Live, Robert does said you can leave some blank when you send through your answers. All I would ask, and this is because I just need pity votes, please don't leave the favourite TV personality one blank. I have a question for you, Eugene, from Rob, Hippie1980. He says, please ask Eugene how he feels being a man helps him at the poker table. This is a running joke because every time we have Liv here, someone always asks, how does being a woman help you at the poker table?
Yeah, I can imagine she gets lots of those questions.
Yeah.
How does being a man?
Yeah, how would you say when you're at the table, the fact that you're a man, what do you think that brings to the table for you that perhaps it wouldn't if there was ever a woman there?
I think just the fact that it's absolutely normal and standard, and
yes, which can really work in your favor.
Abnormal about it,
yeah.
which
yeah,
which you know,
I'd not looked at it that way.
Lets people concentrate on the game instead of
yeah.
my sex.
Yeah.
You're blowing our minds.
Wow, I'd never even thought of coming at it that way.
Incredible revelation, huh?
Yeah, it really helps that it's just absolutely normal.
Action folded to David Boyasian, and he raises to 180,000. Kuzminski, who just chipped up, courtesy of that 3-bet shove, is now thinking once again.
Thoroughly enjoying Gomez's ample head of hair from this view.
Folded around to the big blind. Ben Warrington starts the hand with 1.4 million. Pretty short.
Pretty. It looks like he has shouted all in. There is the triangle of doom, death, whatever triangle you want to call it. Get a few chips in just to show you mean it. Find out what he's actually got.
By our calculations, he's all in for 1.4 million. Certainly enough to get a fold if Boyasian was raising with a marginal hand. One way of looking at it is that Boyasian does have the chips to gamble and lose.
God, look at the stack in front of Jalasi.
Yeah, I was just looking at that
I
too.
just suddenly thought, wow, look
enormous.
at all that. As you say, he's got such a huge percentage of the chips. You go, wow.
Yeah.
To actually see it there is another thing.
A reminder that David Boyasian was the runner-up in EPT Prague last year. So back-to-back final tables in this tournament. He folds showing an ace.
Well, Ben is going to stick around for a bit longer. Doing his best to come back in this level.
So Ben Warrington now up to 1.68 million. Still the shortest stack at the table. Question for you, Eugene, from Gutschel on Twitter. What would you have become if you weren't playing poker? What career path would an alternative Eugene Katchelov have followed?
I'd be in the stock market doing this. That was my passion before poker, for sure.
So you would have been creating global financial crises.
Yes. Making $5 billion bets and losing banks' money, right? That was like on the news all the time now.
Sammy asks, what are your future tournament plans? I mean, I guess for you it must be all about the PCA.
Yeah. I've got a couple of weeks off now for the holidays, and then I've got a really full busy next year, starting off at the PCA, which is one of my favorite stops of the year for sure.
So you say it's a busy year. Have you already mapped out which events you're going to be playing and where and when?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm going to be in a lot of places. I'm going to go to the PCA. After the PCA, I'm going. Actually, I'm going to be playing the NBC Heads Up Championship, which is back on now, which is kind of cool. Then I'm going to go to Deauville. From Deauville, I'm actually going to be in Brazil, but that's not for poker. and then LAPC. And then after that, there's all the other EPTs coming up.
So living out of a suitcase, basically.
Yeah, pretty much all year round. But I love it.
Kutapas has defended his big blind in response to a Jelassi button raise. Very inconsequential flop. And Kutapas has checked.
$140,000. Not surprisingly from Jelassi, using that stack. Kutapas is still in really good shape with 4.2 million.
Yeah, it seems like the standard bet now to bet a little bit smaller than the pre-flop raise, especially on a board like that, to where you kind of either have something or you don't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to get the job done.
Yeah,
regardless.
there's just, you kind of have enough room to maneuver and make it cheaper to steal the pot, and also, it creates a much more interesting game because someone could check raise you also cheaper, and you can re-raise cheaper, and lots of cool things.
Gets the call. 700,000 in the pot. We got another third spade down the 9. Kutapas checks.
Kutapas has checked a second time. Ramsey bet again. He's a very hirsute lion, isn't he?
There's a lot of hair on that man. I mean, he's no Joe Stapleton, but he's pretty hairy. Boom.
What are the yellow chips?
25.
They're the 25k. The blues are 5k, and the green and blacks are 100k.
Okay. So it's 375, is that right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that long ago that you came third in an EPT, Eugene. Did they not have the yellow chips then?
I think they were a different color.
Ah, they were orange back then.
Yeah, I think so. Don't remind me of that.
Not being funny, considering how sick you were that day.
Yeah.
It's commendable that you managed to get to third. I mean, seriously, at one point we did think you were going to die.
I know.
On the set.
I felt like I felt like I was gonna die. I couldn't stop going to the bathroom, like because I had so much coffee in me to keep me awake. I was not in good shape. My God.
And the bet on the turn gets the job done for Ramsey Jelassi, whose chip stack just gets even more monstrous, up to 11.4 million now.
You guys must have had a tough time talking about that tournament. That was a long.
Do you know what the weird thing is? There was no live stream from Barcelona that year.
Oh, really? Okay.
No.
Oh.
And I can't say I'm sorry about it.
Okay.
Because you were still playing at 4:30 in the morning.
My God.
Incidentally, a couple of tweets I just want to read out. Many people in the UK supporting Ben Warrington, Ricky among them. He says, "Go on, Ben!" And Nate has a question for you, Eugene. I mean, it's been something that's been debated so much in the recent weeks, so much so that I think we're all getting a little bit bored of it. But a few hands here have demonstrated yet again why some people feel there needs to be a shot clock in live poker, because decision-making is sometimes being drawn out to ridiculous lengths.
Yeah. I am fully in support of something being done. I don't know exactly what. I don't know the answer, but I am fully in support. I also cannot, I just can't take it when people take unnecessarily long time. I can understand, even if you want to take like 10 or 20 seconds to Hollywood, I think is more than enough. But to take like 2 minutes when you should, there's some spots where you just know what's going to happen. Like, you don't have to like think for a long time before you 3-bet or 2-bet when it's, you should kind of know within like 10 seconds if you're going to do it or not. So it's just unnecessary. It slows down the game. It makes it painful for everyone who's sitting there, and it's just overall bad.
But where has it come from? I mean, in the last 12 months, it seems that the game has got slower and slower and slower. Is it just like because someone did it, someone else started doing it, and now it's just become the standard thing that you have to like?
I think now you see like many people doing it, and you see I guess a lot, unfortunately, some good players doing it, and maybe some of the amateur average players think like, well, if the professionals are doing it, I guess I should be doing it too, because maybe that's what makes them win, the constant tanking. So I feel like it's up to us, some of the other professionals, I guess, to not do quite so much tanking. So I consider myself a pretty fast player, obviously except in some specific situations, but usually I play pretty fast, and I try to promote that. And I think Daniel is in the same boat, and so are a lot of other people. I think it's just it's just unnecessary, and I do agree. We need like a shot clock or some sort. I don't know about a shot clock, but some sort of way to minimize that and just go the other. Start going the other way in this trend.
I mean, certainly when you see players who sit there and are just like, asking to know how much someone has raised, what's his stack over there, before they've even looked at their cards. It's
that
is
absolutely unnecessary. Yeah, at least look. And I also don't like it when you're sitting there and like looking at everyone, and then everyone's folded to you, and you're like still looking, and then you finally look at your hand. Like, just
get on with it.
Yeah.
Do you think there's still a stigma against players that call the clock? Do you think everyone's a bit like, get you?
Yeah, there is somewhat, but I mean, at some point, I think everyone realizes that it's okay. But it's just usually it's like, kind of maybe silly spots, or usually when it's like 4 or 5 minutes go by, and maybe if the pot isn't that big,
yeah,
it doesn't warrant so long to think, then I can understand it.
Well, this is Warrington against Boyasian. Warrington raising from the cut-off, and Boyasian defending his big blind as he's keen to do.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen him defend so much. Always happy to get involved out of position by the seam of it, but it's working for him.
Checks to Warrington, who continues for 160,000. And this is a raise being counted, and the raise is made. 395,000. And this is the classic question: do you want to play for the rest of it? Because you got nowhere else to go right now.
Yeah. Not for the first time today. Warrington with a bit of a grim decision in his face.
I have to give him credit for clinging on and getting that double up at the all-important time.
It's kind of frustrating that, a play that everyone's so excited about, not really got to see him actually play, because we just never had enough chips to really be able to stretch his legs here today.
Pretty much been handcuffed from the first couple of hands today.
Yeah.
Has he been short stacked the whole time since the get-go?
Yeah. Just never really had the opportunity to get going.
Yeah, it's a tough spot for him, I guess, here.
He lets it go. Boyasian wins another pot. Boyasian firmly second in chips, although there is some massive gap between him and the chip leader Ramsey Jalassi. Boyasian now playing 6 million, and Ben Warrington down to 1.3 million. More questions for Eugene Kachalov on Twitter. Juan says, Eugene, what do you think is more prestigious for a poker player, winning an EPT main event or getting to Supernova Elite?
I think it's not really close. I think winning an EPT event is way more prestigious. I think even if you're a pure online player, I think you'll probably answer that. I'm obviously I'm a little bit biased because I'm slightly more of a live player now, although I used to be an online player.
Yeah.
But I think even an online player would prefer to win an EPT than Supernova Elite.
Juan says, go Spain. He's firmly supporting Diego Gomez. And then we have Guidras. Oh, hang on a second. We've got an all-in here.
Yeah.
Diego Gomez was folded to him on the button. He shoves with 20 bigs.
It's all over.
And that's
big
that
shove.
done.
He's showing everyone something. Probably an ace is my guess.
Solid read, sir.
Wow.
Bang!
Great
See,
read.
why am I in here? I could be out there just absolutely guessing random cards here and there.
As I said, Gidris has a question for you, Eugene. Are you considering ever buying that 1 million watch you tweeted some time ago?
No, unless I can somehow get my hands on that lottery that they just had in the States for like, where you can win like 500 million or something. Maybe if I won that lottery, maybe then I could consider that watch.
You'd never be able to wear it, though. I mean, the insurance would just be...
Yeah, I don't know how much money you have to be able to afford a $1.7 million watch. A lot, I guess. What would the insurance be on a watch like that?
I dread to think.
My God.
Yeah, you'd have to have pretty like a permanent bodyguard to follow you around. Well, Gomez goes for the slightly more conventional approach here now, just min plus raising to 170,000. By the way, those of you eager to get into today's EPT Live free roll, we will be divulging the password very shortly.
What time does that start?
9:15 Central European Time, Matt Broughton.
Wow. Is there anything you don't know? What's Gomez showing this time? Yeah,
Oh my God.
He is just crazy. Well, somebody said he runs like God, but he's not getting much for his trouble here, is he?
Should have tried the Mark Herm trick of limping with the aces.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Ramsey Jalassi has virtually doubled his stack from the start of the day, and bear in mind he was the biggest stack at the start of the day. David Boycian slowly onwards and upwards. It's also looking pretty good for Diego Gomez right now, not so good for Sergei Kuzminski and Ben Warrington.
That's a remarkable thing. Normally we'd be going, wow, look, he's got 5.8 million. But because he's sitting behind the guy with over 11, you kind of go, yeah, well, you know, Boycian's got just a bit shy of 6 million. Good on him. Yeah, what a position to be in. So this is Kazupas coming in with the pre-flop raise, standard min click. It's a winner.
Job done. Denise has tweeted, says, hello, Joe. Okay, now, we had earlier on you sounded like Michael Caine. You were compared to Nick Wealthall. You were compared to John Duffy. And now we've got Hello Joe.
Yeah.
Can anyone play an EPT tournament even if you didn't qualify on PokerStars? Can you just buy in at the venue? Well, yes, satellites run on PokerStars. There are live satellites in the casino, but to buy in directly costs 5,000 euros. So it's not a cheap tournament to play, but if you've got $5,000 to spend...
Which I think most of us probably do.
It's open to everyone. And 864 players came into this tournament for 5,000. So a pretty big prize pool here in Prague.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive how much the EPT's grown over the years. Like every year, it just seems to get better and better and better. It's amazing, and there are no re-entries, which I actually really like. The EPT's, you know, the main event is sticking to that.
Well, it's just to stop people like James just keep coming and get knocked out, come back in, knock back. It's just, I think, to keep the embarrassment down for the people that have just got more money than skill.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Folded to Ben Warrington in the small. Raises to 175,000. And Kutapas shoves, which would put Ben Warrington all in.
Yeah. Ben Warrington really had a pretty bad day at the office, hasn't he? Let's be honest.
And Ben Warrington will fold. The players studying the payouts, and Ramsey Jalassi raising an eyebrow about the jump between third and second place prize money. Third gets 310,000, second gets 510,000. That's a 200k jump. And then you've got a 325,000 euro jump between second and first. And it's not unknown for deals to be made on the EPT, but not normally discussed until we're down to 3 players or heads up. And that's when all the micro-stakes grinders then take to social media platforms to say, if I was in this position, I'd never do a deal.
When I play down the pub, we will never even humour the conversation.
By the way, there is apparently a decent-sized crowd gathering in the poker room. Obviously, our final table set is at one end of the room, and lots of people are gathering and watching on the big screens that we've got mounted outside. So good to see a big rail building, and I'm sure we'll hear them when one of their horses doubles up or finally wins this thing.
Finally wins this thing? That didn't sound very prestigious.
Well, I'm just saying, it's a long way to go. I mean, it's not going to happen in the next 5 minutes, is it?
Yeah, but this thing, yeah, and whoever it is, when one of these blokes wins this thing, I mean, unbelievable. See, I told you, he just...
Okay, how about this?
For somebody like him, yeah, this is just one of those things, isn't it?
When someone wins this epic battle, this gladiatorial contest
Keep
of
it coming.
poker giants.
That's it. Now use your proper voiceover voice, yeah? Get you back into it. I do apologise. It's been here for days.
Nothing more elite than winning an EPT title.
That's
what you
Milk
want.
it out.
Yeah.
These gladiators of the felt as the chips and weapons. Exactly. That's all I want.
Well, now that I've excited Matt Brown, we can get back to the action. Gutapas raised from the small. Diego Gomez called in the big. It's an all-club flop.
Denise has apologised. It's fine. Denise said, I just signed in. I didn't know who was on the commentary. That's fine. We don't really mind. We're just glad you're here. We know who you are.
A C-bet and a fold. And now the moment you have all been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen, the password for today's EPT Live free roll, which does begin at 9:15 this evening Central European time. $1,500 in the prize pool. And the password you need to get registered is Bahamas, because that's where we're off to next. Bahamas, all lowercase, is the password for today's EPT Live free roll. And there is an interested party on Twitter, Mr. Pack, who asks, Eugene, will you be registering this free roll?
No, I will not be registering. I don't have the time for
it,
unfortunately.
I once managed to persuade Chris Moneymaker to play the free roll. I've not been successful ever since with any member of Team Pro. Yeah, and of course we will be bringing cards up coverage of 3 final tables at the PCA. The first one being the Super High Roller Tournament. Of course, Mr. Kachalov was the inaugural winner of that event. And this year's field will include the poker giant that is Phil Hellmuth. And I don't just say giant because he's very tall. He also has had some decent results in the game as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with him.
I have to say,
I like playing with Phil.
Yeah, I mean, he's a personality. Poker needs personality. Love him or hate him, you cannot deny that he played really well that World Series of Poker Europe final table.
I honestly didn't watch it, so I can't. I don't have an opinion. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I saw Daniel was talking about it, that he was pretty impressed that he came up with some strategy that really worked for him. I'd like to see it in person. I'd like to see play with him and see him. See what he's doing. And
that tournament, Eugene, has a reputation as being one of the toughest events in the year. I mean, it always draws a pretty elite field.
Yeah, it is certainly one of the toughest. I mean, you have basically all the pros come out for it because it's usually a great event. So you're generally like playing against every pro, and it's it's quite prestigious, and it's just definitely a very respectable win for him.
And that Super High Roller at the PCA is another elite field and should be a great tournament. And obviously there will be television shows made out of it, and the final table streamed live on January the 7th. And if you want to watch the final table of the main event, that's on January the 13th, and the High Roller will be the day after. All the details are at pokerstars.tv in the live coverage section.
Blind on blind for a change, and not going to get too fruity this time.
Nate says, hey, I'm a micro grinder, and I take offence to that, James. I'm open to deals, sometimes. All depends on the players at the final table. I will make it clear, it's not all micro-stakes grinders. It's just everyone who complains about deals is a micro-stakes grinder.
I think it's because they want to see the pain. You want to see the pain on people's faces. You can't see them like relaxed, like, oh, all the money's locked up.
Exactly. It's in the bag. Let's just play for fun.
Yeah, I remember 3-4 years ago, you know, when I was playing, we never made deals. Actually, all the big final tables, and we've never made a deal.
I mean, the important thing to say about deal making is, number one, 10% of the prize pool has to be left in play. And 10% of the prize pool remaining between first and second is still going to be a ridiculous amount of money. Secondly, there is also the title and the trophy, and that's not just kind of, I'm not just saying that, means something.
Yeah, absolutely. No, for me it would mean a lot. I mean, you know, if I was there, I mean, trophy means a lot for me. I mean,
Boyusian's on a roll. 2 hands in a row, he's managed to get in there first.
no one really remembers the second place.
Marion has a question for you, Eugene. Have you recently taken part in any juicy cash games? By the way, big fan of yours.
Thank you. I have not actually played many cash games at all recently. I've been traveling quite a bit, so I haven't had much time. And you know, when I do get a chance to play, it's usually around poker tournaments, so not much time to play any cash games.
Have you seen Juan's request, by the way, Matt? This is your department as
Do you know what I saw?
Spanish student.
Oh, okay, yeah, he was enjoying our Spanglish. He said, can we say, Vamos a España. Hola, esto completamente bebido. Nothing wrong with our accents. They are bang on. We do so many different languages. It's kind of scary. Impressive is what it is. And probably quite insulting.
By the way, those of you who missed the password, don't worry. We'll keep giving it out at various points. We have to retain an audience somehow, and suspense is the only way we can do it.
You sure about that? You sure not just irritating everyone? It's the only bit of power you wield, and you just hold on to it, don't you? Just keep it rolling.
How will everyone respond to this raise from Diego Gomez? That's how they'll all fold.
Makes it easy, doesn't it?
He's quite short now. He's got 11 blinds.
Yeah.
Just under.
Robert says, when's the next break? I'm hungry but don't want to miss anything. Well, you've got a bit of a weight on your hands. 53 minutes to the end of this level. Yeah, 11 blinds for Warrington, 19 for Kuzminski. Gomez also dropping down to a dangerous level with 24 bigs. And Jalassi, well, just has a lot of chips. Still a long way to go, though.
Bang.
Kuzminski all in. Open shoves for a round, 20 big blinds.
I thought he called for a second.
Yeah. Very casual, isn't it? Yeah.
And on to the next hand. This is a situation. It's a situation then, Eugene. Say, for example, it's folded to Ben Warrington on the button. Mm-hmm. Should he even look?
Yes, I mean, I think it's I don't know. I personally don't think it's correct to not look and just shove any two. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some math guys could prove me wrong. But I look. If I have like the 8-3 offsuit, I'm not going to be shoving that.
It's an all-in from Ben. It's been brewing for a while. He's got to get through the blinds.
And he does.
Yeah.
I have to say, one reason why there is a strong argument for shoving any 2 on the button in that spot is you've arguably got the 2 players most likely to fold in the blinds. He has got a good position in that respect, because I don't think he's ever going to get called light by Kutapes or Gomez.
Yeah, I guess Kutapes will be more likely based on his chip stack, but Gomez for sure is going to be really picky with the which calls he's going to be making.
Sure, but
considering his chip stack.
Even though Kutapes has a decent stack, and even though the shove is only for 11 big blinds, I still think he's going to need to wake up with like something decent, like a big pair, probably 10s plus, or like
really?
ace-jack suited at least to make the call.
Wow.
Absolutely. Just judged on what we've seen so far. Do you think that's a fair assessment,
just based
Matt?
on the way he's played?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I think Elke actually tweeted about this guy. He was quite upset that some pot he lost to him with like, I think Elke had kings and Kutapes had ace-5, if I'm not mistaken, and like a 4-bet pot. Elke wasn't too happy.
No one wants an unhappy Elke.
Yeah, it was pretty bad for him yesterday because he kind of bubbled the high roller, which, he's got that side bet with Big Roger.
Kutapes has raised up into the big blind of Boyasian. Just for a change, Boyasian's going to defend his big blind.
Likes a call. Jack 10-3. Rainbow flop.
Pretty fast check.
And the pre-flop aggressive checks behind. 6 of hearts on the turn.
Boyasian opens the door.
Delayed continuation bet from the green.
Yep. David's going to come along again. Another 10 on the end. This time, Boyasian's actually grabbing for some chips. Looks like he's gonna 225. Pretty fast call there. Interesting what's going on here.
Well, Boyasian immediately mucks, and that means that Kutapes doesn't have to show his cards if he doesn't want to. He wins the pot uncontested.
Yeah, that's not the first time we've seen that happen, is it? Boyasian makes a move on the river and then gets called and just immediately gives it up.
Happened in a hand against Ramsey Jalassi.
Yeah.
Denise on Twitter says, Eugene, your English is pretty good. I think it's fair to say you've spent a few years in English-speaking parts of the world. How old were you when you left Ukraine?
I was 10 years old, so ever since I was 10, I lived in New York. So yeah, English has become my first language. It's certainly easier for me than Russian. Even though I'm fluent in Russian, it's easier for me because I find myself translating from English to Russian when I speak Russian quite often.
Rather than just thinking in the language.
Yeah, exactly.
As the man said to Clint Eastwood in Firefox, you must think in Russian.
Wow, that's a pretty slim bit of film quote there. Wow, that was exciting times. Those glory days of the 80s where it was talking cars and thinking helicopters and motorbikes. Firefox.
Folded to Diego Gomez on the button, and he will raise and gets a bunch of folds. And Sammy the Freezing Finn would like confirmation of the events that we will be live streaming from the PCA. If you go to pokerstars.tv, and I assume you're there already, Sammy, because you're probably watching this now, there is a list on the live events page, or the live coverage page, rather, of the exact dates in the events we're covering. It breaks down as the Super High Roller, the main event, and the High Roller, the final tables of those three. And we're going to be doing our kind of funky delayed feed, where the picture is delayed. So we're showing the final table with hole cards up, but our commentary is live. So we're commentating an hour after the actions actually happened, and that means we can still talk to you guys via Twitter and email and have all the interactive fun.
All the interactive fun.
And we can set stupid competition questions like,
what pants am I wearing? And whose hat is that? Which actually, we've never done, but I like, now that I've come up with a name, whose hat is that? It kind of, I think it's the sort of thing that should have a competition attached to it. Gonna have to think of how you now execute something called whose hat is that?
yeah, the idea is to start with a concept
Yeah.
and find a name for it.
Yeah, I know that. I know that's the way to go, but, you know, when you kind of just riffing as I like to on my own, sometimes you accidentally come up with a name before you got a concept that fits it. Damn, that's going to take a bit of work. Right, I'm going to have to find someone with a hat so that I can ask whose hat is that. Bear with us. We're here for another 16 hours. This concept will, at some point, work.
Now, Eugene, I know that obviously you're on the road a lot. You're going from tournament to tournament, country to country, so I imagine you probably don't get the chance to watch many of the EPT TV shows.
That's correct.
So you probably missed the fact that in a recent episode of the Super High Roller from Monaco, there was a feature about you and Elke and your morning exercise routine.
Oh, I've heard. I remember them taping us, but I've actually been meaning to watch that because I remember them taping us. I'd like to see how the way it came out. Some people have said it came out pretty quite well.
It was described by one armchair critic as the most homoerotic piece of television they've ever seen.
Oh my God, that's not quite the description I was hoping for.
Anytime you have men in a gymnasium, I think that's always going to be the comparison that's drawn. We have action here. Boyson opened to 180,000, and there is the all-in from Kuzminski on the button. And he's been called. Boyson puts Kuzminski at risk.
King Queen for Kuzminski against the
Two
pocket tens, yeah.
Okay.
We're flipping.
Both. Every flush draw is live.
So Kuzminski needs the tens to hold, or we will be down to 5.
Does he have the tens or king queen?
Kuzminski.
I thought he has the king queen. I think
Oh.
Kuzminski had the king queen.
Yes, I agree. Yes, Kuzminski was a king queen.
My apologies.
10 of hearts to make it interesting.
Sicko.
So
It usually is. I mean, it seems like it's a high percentage of the time it's gonna be like a 10 of hearts
Kuzminski needs help.
or the 9 of hearts. No.
Now-
Boring.
He is drawing to a king or a queen on the river.
So cruel.
Sorry to not provide you with some sick entertainment, Eugene. The river is a 7, so we lose Sergei Kuzminski in 6th place. A 22-year-old Russian student will cash for 150,000 euros. And we are down to the final 5. Boyasian chips up to 7.3 million, still second on the leaderboard. I have to say, Ben Warrington's done a pretty good job of laddering, Mark.
It is. It's impressive stuff, whether by design or just by the way things have gone. By just sticking around. I mean, also Diego Gomez, he was, you know, hanging on earlier on, and they've done well to stick around in this.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. Pick up 46,000 euro just like that.
Absolutely, 196,000 is the next payout. And obviously he keeps himself in contention to go even further. Robbie says, Eugene, maybe you can ask Elke to play the free roll.
I think there'll be even less of a chance than that. Unfortunately, we're quite busy.
So Ramsey Jalassi's chip lead is still monstrous, but not as monstrous as it once was. Boyasian now around 4 million chips behind him.
How do you guys prefer to watch these tables? With the whole cards or on delayed feed or like this?
I think there are merits to both.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I think for a final table, it is nice to have the hole cards. But I do like it on the days leading up to the final table, and we've got a feature table. I think it would be ridiculous to have hole cards. And I know there are other tours, there are other events which do that, but I don't think you should ever put one table and one group of players at a disadvantage by allowing their hole cards to be broadcast to the world. And if you're not on the feature table, you don't have that.
Yeah, I just remember we discussed that actually. I do agree with you. Yeah, I was just wondering but for you guys personally, it's more entertaining, I imagine, with the cards, right?
I think that I honestly believe there are pros and cons to both formats.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to be said for not seeing the whole cards, and I do think you actually see more information in terms of betting patterns, in terms of physical behaviour. You notice that more when you don't have that whole card information. And there is a tendency to be slightly results driven with what you say when you can see all the whole cards as well.
Yeah, I think once you can see the cards, that's all you see. You see the cards, so you go, oh, he's got this, oh, he's going to get in trouble here. He's bound to raise with the sixes and he's going to run into so-and-so. So I think that's the thing, is once the cards are there, it's very hard to stop just looking and thinking at them. Whereas when it's like this, you do have to worry. And we'll look at each other and say, now this is interesting, because for the last 10 hands, and you know that you're just making observations that you probably wouldn't, because you're just waiting for the cards to come up on the screen.
That's true. But it's also hard to say, like you say, like, oh, he's applying pressure, but maybe he just has big hands every time.
Yeah,
so it's also just hard to see.
That's the bummer, is that you spend the whole time covering yourself. Going, well, this is weird, because previously it's called, maybe he's just got big hand, but then again, maybe he's aware that he has it, and you just end up thinking, why am I just, you have to say every thought.
But it is important to say every thought, because that's exactly what these players are going through. Sitting at the table, his opponents are going through. Exactly the same thing you guys are going through
I think what changed things, Eugene, was the technical solution that we found in Berlin, and as I said, that's what we're going to be doing going forward, and certainly we'll be doing it at the PCA, where we can keep the commentary live, but just keep the video feed delayed. What I wasn't a big fan of is where we'd be commentating live and the audience wouldn't hear what we're saying until an hour later, because you can't have emails, you can't have Twitter, because everyone's an hour behind you. Whereas if we're still live, but the video we're seeing is an hour delayed to maintain the integrity of the tournament, that's a good compromise, that's a good solution, and I'm a big fan of that format.
Right, but you're still commentating on the hour-old video, right?
Correct, yes, but ultimately we're seeing it for the first time, the audience is seeing it for the first time, it's ostensibly live, and we can have the interaction.
Oh, so the audience also has the access to the hour-old video with the whole cards.
Yes.
I see, okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
But look, I'm a great believer that something is better than nothing, and we've made it very clear. This is what we call EPT Live Lite. We've just got fixed cameras out there, just around the table. It's to let people share in the action, share in the moment, and it's not like we're charging them a subscription fee or anything. Ben Warrington making the move here. Folded to him, he moves all in from the small blind.
I think he should be getting called.
Oh, hang on a second, I apologise. He comes over the top of a Ramsey Jalassi bet.
Yeah.
Jalassi raised his button to 170,000, and Warrington comes over the top of that.
Wow, I'm surprised. Well, I guess maybe it's not so bad. He's getting like almost 2-1 on his call here. Oh, he must have a bad hand. That's my observation.
Yeah.
He might have like 10-8 or something.
Yeah. It's got to be real junk
or like
there.
7-5 suited or something.
Oh, Warrington gets away with one there.
Yeah, but he's really happy to win there. I mean, unless he's got like aces or kings, he should be really happy to not get called. It's always nice to, just win.
Well, now that we're down to 5 players, they've just moved around the table slightly so we can get a better view, especially of David Boyasian, who's we've only seen the back of his head for most of today, and for Diego Gomez in the lion costume.
Has he actually put on the mask?
Occasionally, I think his head got too hot. For a while, he did actually have the lion head on. But
that thing looks like it's just really, really warm in it. I don't know.
There was a weird bit when he was in the seat 8 and he had the head on, and when he turned to watch the action, it was quite convincing. It was quite ridiculous. Like now, he looks just like a guy dressed stupidly, but when he actually had the head on, it was pretty creepy for a while.
I wonder if he bought this thing like yesterday, or
well, that's what I thought. I thought, did he bring this with him, or did he just go? I know, I'm gonna.
Maybe he sleeps in that every night. Have you thought about that?
Or maybe there are just people who just randomly bring it just in case they make the final table, and it's like, oh, finally, I made it. I could wear it.
Warrington all in again. Coming over the top of a David Boycian opening raise this time. And it's for a little bit more this time. 1.145 million.
Another bad hand.
And again, the all-in gets through.
He picked up a lot of chips, those two all-ins. A lot of chips.
Maybe people need to stop opening light while there's a guy with around 10 big blinds.
He's
at the
almost
table.
doubled up already. He's got 1.475 million. It's almost a double up for him without having to sweat anything.
Yeah.
Just want to pick up on something that Nate says on Twitter. Obviously, a lot of people debating the whole cards versus no hole cards. And Nate says, whole cards should be available all the time on the feature table, and the hour delay is the best solution for this. It's more entertaining. I agree, hole cards on the final table. You cannot have hole cards on a feature table when there are other tables in the tournament. It's unfair, and it distorts the integrity of a tournament, and I don't think we should ever do that on EPT.
I agree 100%. I think it's a big disadvantage. Having, the fact that, like, if I'm on a feature table like day 3 and, like, that I may have to play with someone day 4 who may have seen me play on day 3 and watch a video the night before and, do their homework and see how I play, and it's just not good.
And I don't care if other tours and live events do it. If they want to threaten their integrity for the sake of TV, so be it. And I'm saying this as someone who works in televised poker. I'm done now. I'm coming off my soapbox.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you know what? I was just going to back off completely. I thought, don't even get involved with this. Look at him. He is a man with an opinion.
Ben Warrington, again.
Kill you over it. Yeah, I know. Look, he's on a roll now. He's going, I quite like this betting and winning business. I'm even going to just raise this time. Going to get the call, though. Boycian has decided. Let's get back to defending. 5-10-7 rainbow. Warrington going to have position here. Oh, look here. Look, here comes Diego. He's decided.
Oh, he's back.
Been a while since we got the old lion head out.
Or maybe he just got a little cold.
It could be.
Or maybe word reached him that Eugene Catalan is watching and is disappointed that you're only half lion.
Yeah. I mean, what's the point of bringing that suit if you're not going to wear the hat? Oh, he's got sunglasses too. Wow.
Oh, not just any old sunglasses. It's the old lizard eye specs.
Is that the Greg Raymer ones?
Yep.
Wow. That's really taking it old school. Although
he's bringing something new to the look, doesn't he? It being inside the shell of a lion is a kind of a new experience for all of us.
The lion wearing lizard sunglasses. It's an interesting mix.
All he needs is like a cowboy hat on the top as well. Well, the fours are good enough.
Oh, I'm surprised he just called with the fours.
Yeah. Yeah, didn't get too out of hand there, but...
So Warrington back down to 1.47 million. Sammy says, Matt, if Eugene makes it to the final table of the PCA Super High Roller, will you dress up as a pirate?
No. No.
On that subject, Eugene, having just re-watched the final table of the Super High Roller in Monaco, considering that you went out one off the bubble, you took it awfully well. I mean, one could argue that Daniel Negreanu was being a little bit out of hand with some of his kind of like, I'm not going to root for you, Eugene. Hey, you're gone. Patrick, you're next because you're a short stack.
Yeah, I do remember that. I remember actually some people telling me that how much, how much he was kneeling. I don't know. I don't remember it being quite that bad, but yeah, I guess maybe it was. I took it well, except it wasn't quite so well when I was asked to do an interview immediately following the bust out. And the first question I was asked was, so how's your day going? And I said my day's going great. I just, bubbled I just had a 325,000 euro bubble, It's otherwise just going fantastic.
And then he walked off and punched a wall.
Yeah. That's kind of what I wanted to do, or bang my head against the wall.
Yeah, That's not the time to ask that kind of question.
Yeah, usually you should not be asking that question after someone bubbles, especially a bubble like that.
It is a horrible job, though. When you get put as the guy that interviews people that get knocked out, you feel like the angel of death. Go,
Yeah, but
hi, so listen, I hear you've just got knocked out of a tournament after 4 days play. But how are you feeling? You know, as if you're going to unravel them. You know, but how are you really feeling? And how do you feel you played? Well, really great up to the point that I was out of the tournament. Anyone that impressed you? No, I want to kill everyone.
I think there are ways to ask to do the interview where it's not so I don't know what the word is, offensive, or it's not offensive, maybe.
No, it's just
so harsh, I guess.
Yeah.
You could say something like, you can kind of sympathize, and then
tell us about your last hand. Really?
It's not. Well, you can say something like, I know you got unlucky or something, or you really couldn't find anything.
We're seeing is 3-betting Gomez. And the Lion folds.
This would just be such a great heads-up, wouldn't it? Just have these two at the end of the table.
I think Gomez has just realised that now that he's moved seat position and the cameras have a better view of him, that it's worth making the effort to go full Lion.
Somebody must have said, we can't really see you anyway, Diego. Don't worry about it. The best thing would be if somebody tries to stare him down to just tip his head so they have to look into the eyes of the lion rather than his. Just to give them that complete surreal experience.
Rob says, how big would the prop bet need to be to get Eugene to dress as a pirate at the PCA? Can we crowdsource it? Every man has a price, Eugene Kachalov.
That is true. That is true. I'm sure I do as well. I don't know what that price is, but
we could cover a tournament buy-in.
To the super high roller, perhaps?
Well, all we need are 100,000 EPT Live fans to contribute $1 each, and we're there.
That's true. That's true. Let's do it.
Preliminary work is starting on whose hat is that? Yeah.
That's Daniel Negreanu.
Oh, you just spot the first one.
Oh, sorry. What is
no,
that?
That's right. I'm just testing out. Just testing out how quickly I can turn these around in case it. Because what if it really takes off?
No, it's a good idea, but can you find someone wearing a hat who's not Daniel Negreanu?
Yeah. Obviously. Look, meanwhile, let's see. You were so engrossed by whose hat is that, you've missed probably the most important play of all.
Ben Warrington comes over the top of an open from Ramsey Jalassi with ace-4. Ramsey snaps him off with kings, and it's not looking good. Although, don't forget, yesterday, ace-deuce cracked kings when the flop came deuce-deuce-deuce. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think we're saying that that's likely, but it has happened.
Yeah, he's certainly not happy about seeing an ace in his hand with the kings. Like the one card you don't want to see.
The British Rail calling for an ace.
Oh.
Wow!
How about flopping the wheel instead?
Cowabunga! Filthy. Filthy, filthy poker.
What is it with small aces against kings in this tournament?
Oh, a 4 now.
Oh, that would be nice.
All right, let's see a 4.
And the river. He didn't need the straight because the ace came on the turn. So as it stands, Ben Warrington will double up to nearly 1.9 million. Ramsey Jalassi still very healthy and monster chip leader with over 10 million. But Warrington survives again. And Gomez is now the shortest stack at the table, playing 18 big blinds. Question for you, Eugene, from Dave Osman. Says, Eugene, which tour stop from previous seasons would you most like to see return in a future season of the EPT?
Oh, good question. Let's see. Which ones are gone now?
Okay, well,
Lutraki gone.
Lutraki's gone.
Campione gone.
Madrid, Copenhagen.
Copenhagen. I've never been to Copenhagen.
I have to say, I will probably miss Copenhagen because I will miss the Blue Elephant restaurant and that funky place we went to in the centre of Copenhagen.
Oh, really?
What was it called? Was it Rio Bravo? I've lost him. He's not even listening to anything I'm saying.
I guess it'd be Copenhagen just because I've never been there, so I just would want to, actually visit the place. But I do think it's nice that we have less EPTs now.
Yeah.
Where it makes it more prestigious and bigger events, and the fields are bigger and better. I just,
There were a couple of venues I never
like
got to go to. I never got to go to Villamora, which apparently was very nice, and Tallinn. There were a lot of selling points in Tallinn.
I've never been to those either.
That hand saw Ramsey Jalassi open with a min raise. Diego Gomez shoved, and Jalassi folded. So Jalassi has dropped below the 10 million mark.
Danger zone.
He's basically going to be open shoving now.
Yeah, it must be very hard not to panic when you see that you've gone down under the 10 million mark for the first time in some hours.
How is it in the world of hats, Matt Broughton? I could see you were immersing yourself in...
yeah, I've just done a little bit of research just to see, because I'm trying to go for people that perhaps don't obviously wear hats. If you are wondering what this is about, don't forget, a bit later on today we're going to be playing Whose Hat Is That?, which was a title before it was a concept, but now it's both. Going to have to do a little bit of work in the break, but I'm going to give up my break for you people, because I think it's important to keep you entertained.
By the way, Rob on Twitter has just reminded me about the marathon heads-up matches in Copenhagen. Yeah, let's not bring back Copenhagen anytime soon. Robbie asks, how many players started the main event in Prague? 864, and these are the final 5. Everyone now guaranteed 196,000 euros. The winner, as well as becoming an EPT champion and lifting the trophy, will collect 835 grand. And hello to Stephen, who says, I'm stuck at work, missing the EPT live stream. Sad face. It would be wrong and immoral for me to suggest that you pull a sickie, Stephen. So I'm not going to.
You'd never do that. You're not the kind of guy that would say something like that.
Raise from Boyasian on the button.
Call. Casual call.
King high flop. Ramsey Jalassi's thinking, that's the flop I wanted when I had kings.
Check, check.
Players in the hybrid server, we have a break at the end of this level. During the break, we do an chip race with 25,000 chips. So before you go to your break, the one player on each table buying the 40 to 25 chips.
Well, there was no betting action on the flop, so Ramsey Jalassi decides to lead the turn for 245,000.
Yes, Ian doesn't look like he's done with this. He's going to come along again.
Attention to Kilowatt is on position number 1.
I wish Diego would stop spinning around in this chair. It's really off-putting. There's this lion kind of rotating. I keep thinking I'm hallucinating. He's having a nice time. Got a little song playing in his head.
There was a little Spanish fleet.
Don't you join in. Bang.
Selassie fires again.
3,000, 6,000, again is 1,000. And so you're ready, Niels?
375,000. And a fold from Boycian. So a decent sized pot for Jalassi, which will see him get his stack back up to 10.61 million, putting a little bit of distance between himself and David Boycian.
And back into the comfort zone.
And we mustn't forget, and it's very easy to forget, that Sotirios Kotopos is kind of like in the middle there with around 4.5 million. And then we've got the two guys with around 20 big blinds each, Ben Warrington and Diego Gomez. 21 minutes left on the level. Huh. Herman just tweeted to say, hey, I enjoyed the marathon heads up in Copenhagen. I watched all of it while in the hospital. But that might have been due to the fact that I was on tranquilizers.
Well, whatever it takes to get through the heads up. Jalassi back in with a raise. Good to passes out of there. Picks up another little cheeky one.
We're talking about favourite stops on the EPT. Robbie says, I've been to Prague to see Romanello take it down. I think it's a very nice venue. It's a pretty awesome hotel. It has something quite Las Vegas about it in that it feels like a resort rather than a hotel because of that extraordinary lobby area.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. You feel like you don't really have to leave the hotel if you don't want to. They're really, like, probably one of the nicest gyms outside of Las Vegas here, actually.
Wow.
Milas has a question for you, Eugene. Your favourite male and favourite female players? He's having a think.
I don't know. It's tough. I think female, probably Vanessa Selbst, I think. I mean, she just has to be, I think. She's a beast. She's just so good.
Popular answer.
And male. Male is tough. I don't know. I always go usually with the cliche answer of Phil Ivey. I mean, just for their overall abilities. So I think I'll just stick with that.
Solid answers, Eugene. Solid answers.
Kutapas is going to go blind on blind here against the Lion.
Raw.
I do like the fact Gomez doesn't hang around, does he? If he's going to get involved, he's going to get involved. So we're going to see these blinds. Gomez is going to have the advantage of position here. 10 Jack 4 Rainbow. And the Greek Kutapas is first to play.
Hello to Micro. It says, just open the EPT live stream. What's with the mascot?
No, that's one of the players. That's one of the players. That's not somebody. Somebody hasn't brought a 6-foot mascot on the table by their chips. That is actually one of the players.
And no, he didn't lose a prop bet. He chose to be that way. Eugene, we're going to say goodbye to you in a couple of minutes because I understand that you're going to drop by with our Czech friends over there and provide a bit of commentary in Czech.
Yeah, to test my Czech speaking abilities. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
Hey, look, a graph. What's this about?
These?
Somebody found a button-wing graph in it. We've been here for a day and a half, and this is the first graph.
Well, there you can see the progress of Messieurs Warrington and Gomez over the course of the 101 hands that we've seen at the final table. You can see that Gomez had that big double up and then has been steadily on the decline. A steady decline for Warrington, followed by a few double ups, and they're now pretty even.
That steady decline has been quite a profitable steady decline for Gomez. There is laddered up a couple of times during that slow dribbling off.
It's Katupas to speak. It's been folded to him. And he raises the button, gets a fold from Gomez. You're absolutely right. The guy acts super fast.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him credit for that.
Well, it's easy, isn't it?
Yeah, let's just get everyone wearing lion suits, but at least if they act quick.
Yeah.
I'll take that as a trade.
And as is often the case, David Boycian will call out of the big blind. Ace, king, deuce. I predict check, bet, fold.
I like it.
There's the check. Oh, Katupas checks behind.
Party time.
Very, very interesting. Five of diamonds on the turn. Boycian checks again, and don't splash the pot, sir. It's a bet of 115,000, quickly called by Boycian. So heads up to the river, which is six of hearts. And it goes check, check. And Katupas will show ace four.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Wasn't expecting anything that strong.
Strange check.
Why did he check the flop, get minimal value on the turn, and then check the river?
I don't mind the check on the flop, but why check the river? That's the questionable.
Eugene, it's always a pleasure. Thank you very much for dropping by, and good
Sure.
luck with our Czech friends across the way.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the Bahamas, or hopefully I won't. For once, hopefully I'll be on the table, just, you know, winking at you or
But
sending you signals.
Just think,
at
it's the
final table.
ultimate consolation prize, Eugene. If you don't make the final table of the Super High Roller, you get to spend time with me.
And don't forget to take your pirate suit with you.
Yes.
All right. All right, guys.
Thank
Good
you.
talking to you.
We've raised a whole 3 out of the $100,000 so far. Eugene Kachelov from Team PokerStars Pro. And remember, we will be covering those events from the PCA. Cards Up coverage of the Super High Roller is on the 7th of January. The main event on the 13th and the High Roller on the 14th. Oh, darn it. Just as Eugene leaves, a really good question comes in from Sammy. Eugene, name a poker player you don't like. I'm going to answer the question for Eugene. He hates Elke.
Oh, God, honestly.
They
oh.
just can't bear each other.
It's kind of one of those partnerships where they're just for the cameras.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all faked for TV.
It's all fakes. It's like...
As soon as the cameras stop rolling, that's it.
Oh, God, then they just can't have anything to do with each other.
No. So this is hand 104 of the final table. Five-handed here at EPT Prague. Robbie thinks that when he doesn't have the actual lion head up, that Diego Gomez looks like a Teletubby.
Fair enough. I mean, basically, you can pick anything with a onesie, and you're laughing. Don't start playing my game before I'm ready to...
No, can I just offer an opinion?
Yeah?
That's a good one. I don't know who that is.
Good. Right, okay, that's...
So what do we do now? How do we play the game?
I don't know a lot. I'm still working through the logistics. Basically, what will happen is, for those of our viewers that are joining us on Twitter, I'm going to post up the picture of... I forgot what the name of it was, considering this whole thing was born of the name.
Whose hat is that?
Whose hat is that? Is what we'll be playing. Whose hat is that? So let me just work out if this is going to work. But that's the plan. That's the plan, is I shall be posting up a picture of whose hat is that. Right, okay, this is going to work. This is going to work.
Don't forget to tag it EPT Live.
Yes, I know. All right, I know I'm a bit flaky, but...
Well, Boyasian's raised the button, and Ramsey Jalassi has 3-bet from the small blind. And it's a chunky 3-bet to 455,000. Now, I wonder, is Jalassi sizing this 3-bet because he knows Boyasian's tendency to call?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like they've worked out that actually if your raise is designed to get rid of him, you're going to have to get a bit more behind it. Otherwise, he's just going to keep coming along with you and making things difficult.
Jalassi back above 11 million in chips right now after a brief wobble where he doubled up Ben Warrington. Warrington on around 20 bigs at the moment. Diego Gomez playing 18 big blinds. Now the two short stacks. Everyone else up above 50 big blinds. In Ramsey Jalassi's case, well over 100 big blinds, 139 to be precise.
A shame we never got to ask Eugene the Greg Raymer question. That was a good one.
So yes, if you now go onto Twitter and you search hashtag EPT Live, you will see a tweet from The Waster, which is the Twitter handle of my colleague Matt Broughton.
Hello.
And you'll see that he has tweeted a picture of a poker player in a hat. The question is, whose hat is that?
Whose hat is that? There's a brand new segment that's just fallen out of us.
Do we have any prizes? You gave away our packet of sugar. The stirrer.
A stirrer. I've got a plastic stirrer. It's a special limited edition Prague stirrer. It's the only one of its kind. It's the only one on the table. That I'm going to put aside, and that could be yours. If you can tell me, whose hat is that? Hashtag EPT Live. You'll miss me when I'm gone, is all I'm going to say. Get in touch, exclamation mark. See inside for details. Go on, Ben. Come on, Ben. No. Folding lips.
$1.45 million Gomez starts the hand with by our calculations. But the min raise is enough to get the job done.
As is so often the case, we have seen.
Okay, some answers coming through already. Mark Purvis, who's already won one competition today. Tom and Tendert, all saying the same name, Jason Mercier.
Correct. Right, that was too easy, wasn't it?
Can I point out that you spent what must have been a good 20 minutes on that?
No, I was researching the technology. I didn't have a photo editor on my little tablet device, and I had to work out how I was going to go about it. So it wasn't... Oh, hang on, I've done something wrong. It wasn't time misspent because I've learnt a lot. I think we've all learnt a lot about ourselves during that process. That's fine. That was just, you know, just working out how to make the best of this situation for you all.
Robert on Twitter says, life don't get better than live streams and free rolls. And we have had a few requests for the free roll password. We'll try and get to that in just a moment. Gomez has gone all in. Ben Warrington open with a min raise. Gomez shoving from the small blind. Gets a fold from Boyasian in the big. So the action is back on Warrington. He's asked for a count. They're pretty even in chips. Warrington with the slight edge. There's only 200,000 in it between them.
Looking how much time's left on this level, whether that's going to start influencing the decisions. Oh, is he going to show his ace? He likes to show an ace.
Oh, yeah, show the ace.
I don't know about this showing of the ace. And the other one. Too
Come
late.
on.
Now you showed, now you have to...
Thank you, Kate, for the information.
Thank you, Tim. I'm not sure about this showing.
What about this tweet then? Help me! I need to go to the toilet. I'm in pain and agony. I'm waiting for the password and I can't leave my laptop. Oh,
That's a
come
shame.
on. We need to give the man the password. The game starts at 9:15 this evening, so just under 4 hours from now. $1,500 in the prize pool. If you want to play that free roll, you need the password Bahamas, all lowercase, Bahamas. Bahamas is the password for today's EPT Live free roll.
Just letting you know, some good news is that I hadn't realised because I wasn't watching. Don't forget, we're watching hashtag EPT Live. Some people had sent me separate little tweets to myself personally, and there were some wrong answers on there. We had Romanello, we had Jesus, we had a few different things. So don't forget, hashtag EPT Live, because I'm not really monitoring my own personal shebang.
Precisely, and also I have to say, even if you got it right, if you don't include the hashtag EPT Live, you're not going to win the prize.
You're not going to win the prize, which is still really...
Oh, Matt, that's so easy.
I'm just warming up. Right, I'm trying to multitask. We got a break in 7 minutes. I'll get some proper ones. Ben's in. Ben's come in. 165. Gomez is out. Boyasian is out, and it looks very much like Mr. Gillespie is out. So, little nibble for Ben. So this would be Boyasian on the button this time round. Action starts with Kudipus. Into the lion, that is Diego Gomez. Kudipus looks like he's going to have a stab at this. All in, very quick all in. Kudipus made the raise. All in very, very quickly from Gomez.
He does always act quickly. Looks like the blinds are folded. It's back on Kudipus.
Level 20 in our two main event lines, 5,000, 10,000, is 1,000. 5K,
It's another 1.4 million for him to get involved, but the thing is, you'd like to think that Gomez has shown a couple of aces and now he's going to start being creative.
By the way, this could take some time, so let me just quickly settle round 2 of your competition, Matt.
Yeah.
Rob got in there like a flash. Liv Barry, obviously.
Well, you say obviously, it might not be obvious to everyone. Turns out that that was her hat. There's already another one up there, though. I can see I'm going to get through these quite quickly.
Oh, really? Number 3?
Yeah.
Can you number them? Otherwise it's going to get too confusing.
Oh, sorry. Do you know, yeah.
I think that one's pretty easy as well. The problem is that, you know...
Well, I'm trying to kind of include, like, the top of an ear or the side of an eyebrow or something, because otherwise you're just... it's folded. Look, and everybody loves it. Oh, is he going to show one... Oh, is he going to show the deuce? It's the deuce this time. Kate's going, what is it? Which card was it? What was it? It was the king. A question from Robin. Did Warrington really have queens a couple of hours ago and he tanked for 10 minutes? No, we don't know that. That was just me. Somebody had asked us what range is he thinking about there, and we were trying to work it out. That was just me being silly and using the Guessatron. I don't believe we know what he had. Don't forget, If you want to play Whose Hat Is That, make sure you get the hashtag in there, otherwise I shan't be responding to you. Easily one of the best things we've ever done. And if you weren't sure whether to vote for the EPT Live shows, now I'm sure you've probably decided it is the best stream show.
How much minutes to the break?
2.5.
2 minutes? Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking to me.
I hope you're nice with the pictures today.
Nice you to answer his question.
Yeah, well, I got carried away.
The main picture that was on yesterday.
Dave Osman, snap calls, Jamie Gold.
No.
Oh, it's not. Wow.
Is that who you thought it was?
I thought it was Jamie Gold.
No, brilliant. Brilliant. Well, this is good news for me.
Is it Elke? That's what Adrian suggests.
Yes. Oh, can you take a bit longer, please?
At what point are you going to abandon this flawed concept?
Never. Even when the tournament is finished and someone is being crowned, I will be here editing really grainy pictures of hats just to show how far I've come in broadcasting. Right, okay, you're in trouble now. Oh, I've got a great one. I can hear Eugene. Eugene is still working. He is working the Czech commentary in the most fluent Czech I've ever heard. He speaks Czechish. Gilas is out, Ben's out. Round Satirus Katupus. On the button, feels compelled to do something here. The thing is, his seat has become sort of troublesome. All in really quickly from Gomez. It was kind of expected. He's on a roll. It's a call. It's a call. The lion has been called.
He shoves the small blind. Boyacine calls him from the big blind with queens.
But it is ace 9. Okay, it's not ridiculous.
This will be the last hand of the level. And it will either be a big double up for Diego Gomez, or it will see his elimination and his chips shipped across to the Dutchman David Boyacine. The queens are a big favourite, but we've seen big pairs cracked by raggy aces a few times in the last 48 hours. There is a 9 on the flop, which gives Gomez a little bit of extra hope. Both his cards are now live. An ace or a 9 would see him move in front. The turn card is a 10. So an ace or a 9. Those are the cards that Gomez needs.
There could be some celebrating if the 9 or the ace come to the party.
It's a 4. We lose the lion from this final table. There will not be a Spanish winner here in Prague. Spain still has yet to win an EPT title. Diego Gomez leaves us in 5th for 196,000 euros. 4 players will return after the break. And those 4 players contain Ben Warrington, who ladders up another spot and now guarantees himself €250,000. We will play on here in Prague. The action will continue on EPT Live on the PokerStars.net European Poker Tour.